Hey everybody, it's Ron with the Arkansas CW here at Bentonville Film Festival with Manuel and Sebastian. How are you guys doing today?
Great, happy to be here.
Excellent. So we have two films for the price of one today. We have El Triste and Nahjum.
That's correct.
So we'll touch on El Triste first and we'll get on to Nahjum. So El Triste, can you give us a synopsis about it?
Yeah, definitely. El Triste takes place on the backstage of a marionette show.
Oh, okay.
And it follows El Triste, an old ragdoll-like marionette that does not have any specific talents. El Triste is going through an existential crisis and decides to do all that it takes to prove to himself and to his fellow film puppets that he's worthy of attention and admiration.
Okay.
It's a story that touches upon the artistic ego. It's a story that touches upon disability, a little bit about the sexism and racism in the industry, in the entertainment industry, but also just about a universal fear of not being good enough. You know, it's a musical, it's a drama, it's an exciting film.
Wow, that sounds super. I know someone extremely close to me where she suffers from a mental disability and she's an amazing artist. And just like I said, a universal fear that we all have, just being good enough. And for her, it's just like 10 times because of that.
Yeah, that's what El Triste is all about.
And what was the inspiration behind this film?
Well, it's a film that it's a very interestingly crafted film. This is a film that came about to be when I met these amazing puppeteers, which they have a very unique craft and it involves a lot of artistic process that can be very hard for them. You know, it's an industry that many people are interested in, but there is not so mainstream. You know, so of course that these topics can relate directly to these artists. You know. As a filmmaker, sometimes we have these moments of fear, we have these moments of thinking that we may not make it, we may not be good enough. So I try to unite these two worlds, the puppeteering world and the filmmaking world. It's not so much like the Muppets, for example.
Right.
We have the puppeteers featured in the film. You know, we see the hands moving the puppets. So it was kind of like an interesting take to explore that within the puppet world. So
definitely.
That's how it came to be.
Yeah, so any interesting stories that you have in between takes, before you started or afterwards, or anything funny that happened during?
Well, it's funny because you fall in love with the puppets and you are directing in a way the puppets and you're filming the puppets. And then, I remember that I used to come out of the director's monitor and I would like actually start talking to the puppet and I'm like, no, wait. I need to talk to this guy, you know. Cain and Matt, they're extremely talented. They are very, very vulnerable. They let themselves be very vulnerable. So it was just such a blast to kind of like try to understand how to direct a human being about how a puppet moves. You know, it was such an interesting take and something that I learned a lot from. You know,
right. It sounds like you got lost in the art at that moment.
I did. I truly did.
I've seen painters. A really good friend of mine, she paints, and like I see her get lost, and it's like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it or something?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I just need to paint, and she just goes.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, these puppets are so well crafted and full of life and love and uniqueness, and they're so diverse, and I think that's the reason why this film completely fits with what this festival is all about. You know. Right. It's a film that I find it very encouraging, the fact that it's a film that is such unique in its genre. It's a genre blending film, and it's about diversity, but it's an underlying thing, you know?
Right.
And that it's exciting for me to think that diversity is not a trend, it's here to stay, you know?
Right.
And if it can coexist with horror, comedy, thriller, and it's not necessarily a story about diversity, but it's diverse, that's where I'm very hopeful for, you know?
Definitely.
For me, as the producer, I think the most challenging and most interesting thing was to give these puppets human feelings, you know? And I think when you see the film, you feel for them and you experience
of course.
the world.
Any websites or social media you guys have to promote today?
Yes, so for El Triste is El Triste short film in Instagram and in Facebook.
So Nahjum. Another film that you guys have here. Can you tell me about that movie?
Yeah, of course. So Nahjum was born as an exploration of religious matters, of something we cannot see, but we believe so much that it drives men to do terrible or amazing things. So since the beginning, we wanted to create a world and take the audience to a whole new, different world. So we place the story in a prehistoric time about this family that is looking for a mythical source of life to cure one of the members, and everything starts to turn apart when the egos and male obsessions start to rise to the surface.
Definitely. And what was the inspiration behind that for you?
So the inspiration came, as I said a little bit, to explore these religious matters in these like extreme situations where it's life and death.
The very interesting thing about Nahjum is that as co-directors, we had a very different viewpoint from the very beginning of what the story was about for us, And I feel like when those two visions came to be as one, it became a multi-layered film.
Right.
So the story, even though we created a whole language for it, we created a whole culture for it, it's a very, on its core, it's just a family drama, It's a story about a family coming apart. And so we had these two things that we're following up. We're following the egos of the male members of the family and how it turns the whole mission or the whole journey apart. But also we have the side of the fear of life and death, and the fear of not finding that thing that you believe so much in, but you cannot see.
Right.
So I think like those two things came together very, very nicely, and we're happy for that.
Right. Any interesting stories you have in between takes or during the filming, or something funny that may have happened?
Yes, we had a lot of cool experiences.
We could be here for 5 hours.
Yeah, we shot in the jungle.
Oh wow!
So it was shooting in the jungle is very extreme. The mosquitoes and the heat and stuff like that. But I think the most interesting thing was to work with the actors in a different language that we didn't talk or knew about it. So we were focusing more on the emotions rather than having the exact lines said. But still that worked perfectly. Right. I remember the first time we read the script and we were kind of like afraid if the language was gonna work. But then when we got to the point of where the most dialogues are, the actors just dropped the screenplay and they were talking to each other. So it was like a magical moment for us.
That sounds awesome.
Also, adapting to the location was absolutely crazy because we did 2 location scouts. It's the jungle. It's raining a lot. It's raining, and just things changed so much that I remember in the last location scout, we thought that we were going to film a scene in a specific place. We blocked it. We knew where the camera was going to be, how the actors were going to move, and then we arrived there and it was flooded with water,
Yeah.
So you got to adapt.
Right.
And I feel that's kind of powerful when you combine deep preparation with the flexibility of adapting. I think great things can happen.
Definitely, of course. And any social media for the movie?
Yes, social media for Nahjum, it's Nahjum Short Film, and yours is Manuel DBMA, and mine is Sebastian TORGR.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
I appreciate your time.
Happy to be here.
Excellent. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.